right, welcome Rambler fans to the 2021 Men's Basketball Virtual Banquet. Very different from what we've done in years past, but couldn't be happier to have you all here with us tonight. We're going to keep you occupied for about an hour or so as we celebrate another great year of Loyola basketball and especially honor our departing seniors, Jake Bachman and Cameron Krutwig. To kick off our program tonight, we're very pleased to have with us the leader of Loyola University. And in her 5 seasons of Loyola basketball, she's been to the NIT once. She's been to 2 NCAA tournaments, 2 Sweet 16s, and a Final Four. Our president, Dr. Joanne Rooney.
Thanks, Steve. And I wish I could take credit for any of that other than just being a super fan. So that fits quite well. So let me just add my good evening, Ramblers. I am definitely honored to be here to congratulate all of you on an extraordinary season this year. So yes, as you just heard, for the second time in 4 years, our men's team, you made it to the NCAA tournament, and this year in the midst of a pandemic. And I think the thing that really strikes all of us is you did it as a team. Every single one of you had an essential role to play, and you needed to rely on it and trust your teammates. And honestly, the examples you set impacted our university in so many positive ways, not just this year, but for years to come. Thank you. I am so proud of this team, and I am so proud of each and every one of you. I do want to add my well wishes to and extend my congratulations and extra special wishes to Cam Krutwig and Jake Bachman, who are graduates of this year's class of 2021. And since the official commencement ceremony was last night, yes, they are official grads today. Yes, it has been a great year. But I do have to admit, I'm really excited to see this men's basketball team next season under the vision, steady hand, and frankly, excitement of our new head coach, Drew Valentine. So, I hope you agree with me. It is certainly a great time to be a Rambler. Thanks, everyone. And again, congratulations. We're so proud.
Thank you, Dr. Rooney. It's always a great day to be a Rambler. We appreciate your support and all that you've done for our athletic programs and our basketball team in particular. One thing we've all learned, especially over the last 4 years, is that while we've had great success on the basketball court and an outstanding academic institution, when it really comes right down to it, Loyola is known as Sister Jean's School. And having her a part of Loyola is truly a blessing for all of us. Sister Jean has a brief message. She's not with us live, but she did record a brief message that she asked us to share with all of you tonight. So I'm going to turn it over to Sister Jean.
Good and gracious God, as we gather together this evening to celebrate the achievements of our athletes, we thank you for the talents with which you have gifted them. And we want to congratulate them for the way they have used their talents. We are proud of all the honors that they have received this year: championships, team awards, individual awards, which include both sports and academic recognition. This has been another difficult year for the sports world, but it seems we have done better than ever. We don't want any more COVID years, oh God, but we will accept the challenges of the various conferences, and we know that we will have the assistance of our athletes' staff. We also wish to thank our fans who continue to support us during our hard times. We look forward to seeing them in the Gentile, on the field, and on the track, as well as on the course, to watch us in our games and our playoffs. We want to strive again to be the best in our conference. It will be good to be together again. And God, we ask that you bless us and help us to have another successful year for Loyola athletes. Amen. God bless us. Go Ramblers.
Thank you, Sister Jean. Our next guest shouldn't be a stranger to anyone who follows Loyola basketball, but as of about 5 weeks ago, he's taken on a new role in the program. After an outstanding playing career at Oakland University, a 2 year stint on Tom Izzo's staff at Michigan State, 2 years coaching back at his alma mater, and then 4 years with us here with the Ramblers, he's known nothing but success. In 8 years as an assistant, he's been to the postseason 7 times, including 3 Sweet 16s, 2 Final Fours. Drew Valentine, our head men's basketball coach, and so now, Drew, maybe to kick things off, after 8 years with so much success as an assistant, tell us about your first 5 weeks as a head coach and maybe some of the wins you've gotten over the last 5 weeks in your new role.
Well, I appreciate it, Steve. First and foremost, just wanted to say thanks again to you all for believing in me. Dr. Rooney, thank you so much. To the rest of the administration and then Steve as well, and your staff, Steve. I can't thank you guys enough, for believing in me and giving me this opportunity. But the last 5 weeks have been outstanding. I think the first part of it was trying to figure out our current team and reaching out to, I think some of the parents are watching this, but reaching out to them, sharing my vision for the program and for their sons individually, and going through that sort of process. And we were, lucky enough to, I'm sure we're going to get to this, Steve, but, lucky enough to have, 4 of our 5 seniors return and want to continue to keep this thing rolling and improve and, chase another championship. So that was kind of the first thing, was our current team. And then, we had some current recruits, guys that were, both signed and committed to being future Ramblers, and, talking to them, their families, sharing my vision for them and where I see them fitting in and the direction that I want to take our program. So, meeting with them as well took a lot of time, and then getting my staff together, figuring out the assistant coaches and sports staff and all the different people that are going to, help me and assist me in guiding this program. And then just, a ton of different media things, and then also recruiting future Ramblers as well. Getting on that trail and establishing those relationships as a head coach, instead of an assistant. So doing all that, and then, mixed in with that, we had 2 great weeks of off-season workouts, which I'm super excited about. The guys got after it and got better over those 2 weeks that we had. And so just really looking forward to, them coming back this summer, and then, heading into the fall and the season next year.
So a night like tonight, especially with the group of seniors we had last year, we'd normally be celebrating a really big senior class, but that's not the case. We're going to get a chance to talk to our departing seniors in a few minutes, but you mentioned the 4 seniors who you've got coming back. Maybe talk a little bit about those guys, Tate, Keith, Ahir, and Lucas, before we move on and talk a little bit about Cam and Jake.
Yeah, I mean, just super exciting. I mean, for the program, for our team, for our university, that those 4 young men decided that they still want to be a part of this. They're all in. They're completely bought in. And they have individual things that they still feel like they want to accomplish. But their message to me and the message of this team is to compete for championship. That's our goal. That's our mission. And, we've been consistent with that. Our first team workout, before we even had our first team workout, we watched, the national championship game from this year, the versus, Baylor and Gonzaga. And we really went through what made, Baylor a championship team. And these guys have played on championship teams here at Loyola, but we want to take it, to that next step, to that next level. And, all of them have been, huge parts of the program. When you talk about Lucas, he's, been a pillar of our program for the past 4 years. He's somebody that's poured his heart and soul, not only into the program as a student or as an athlete, but he's poured his heart into this university as a student. And his commencement speech was outstanding, and that just really just exemplified the kind of person that he is. So super excited for Lucas. He's been grinding it out here these last couple of weeks. Super excited for him. Ahir has been another young man that's been with us for 4 years and, accomplished so much. He's really developed and gotten better each year. And Ahir he feels like he can, take his development a step further before taking the next step in his basketball journey. So super excited about Ahir and his future. And then, when you talk about Tate, he's been here for 3 years, in his journey. And Tate's one of the most, hardworking, hard-nosed guys that's about, the right things. He sacrificed so much, for our team last season and accepted a role and really helped us win a championship last year. So really excited about Tate. And then lastly with Keith, I mean, you talk about a guy that's a winner. Keith has won a state championship in high school. He won a junior college national championship at Vincennes, and then this past year with us on our team. And, Keith is just a winner. He'll do whatever it takes, whatever role he has. 2 years ago, he played, mostly point. Last year, he played off the ball more than he did the year before and didn't complain at all. And he's completely bought into our culture. And so super excited about the 4 of them collectively and individually.
When you think about getting guys like that back, those 4 seniors back, how important will that be? Since, and you mentioned this before, you also have a pretty big group of newcomers coming in into next season. So how important is it to have those veterans a part of the program?
I mean, it means everything, to the sustained success for those guys to have an example. And the guys, these 4 seniors have accomplished so much, and they exemplify what we want our culture to stand for. They bring it every day. They have such a high standard for themselves on, how to compete, how to work each and every day, what each rep of each drill or each rep or each possession on the floor, what a championship possession or a championship rep looks like. And so I think they're going to be great examples and leaders for the next generation, as well as the other returners we have, for the next generation to keep this thing going. And that started, from my first year here. We had great seniors like, Ben Richardson and Dante Ingram and Andre Jackson, guys that set the example and set the bar for Crut and for Lucas to continue to do that for the next generation. And here Tate and Keith will continue to do that for the rest of the newcomers that we have coming in for our team this year.
Before we start in with Jake and Cam, want to take a look back at this past season, and maybe you can talk about what really stands out the most from what ended up being such a memorable year for us.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, there's so many different moments, that happened throughout the year. Being able to win the championship, here at home, on senior night for our our 6 guys, being able to win the championship in such a competitive game, was super awesome. Being able to cut down those nets. Those are moments that when you're going through the preseason conditioning or summer conditioning or a practice during the season, when it's cold outside, and you might not feel like, you want to get after it at a high level. Those are the moments that you go back to and you draw back to and you live for. So, being able to do that and see our guys, experience so much joy and so much happiness from winning, the regular season championship. And then you go to Arch Madness and being able to watch the one shining moment video that they do on the jumbotron there at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, being able to watch that, being able to, give each other hugs and embrace each other on the floor, and, be able to, just talk about, this is what we do it for. This is why we do it. Those moments, embracing one another. And then, the NCAA tournament, I mean, each game was just, so fantastic. The game that we played against Georgia Tech at Hinkle, being able to experience that, with our fans finally back, some sort of fans back in attendance, getting able to, when a guy hits a big shot or makes a big, gets a big stop defensively, being able to, lose yourself in the momentum of what a crowd does for you was awesome. And then, being able to beat Illinois in that battle of the, in-state schools, and, all the guys kind of embracing each other on the floor after the game. I mean, that was a huge moment for us. And there's just so many moments I could keep on going, on and on about, different things as well. But those are a couple that just really stand out to me.
You mentioned Indy, and one of the things that was so unique and different was the bubble. No interaction really with your family, with the fans, while you were there playing on the really big stage, but smaller crowds. Maybe talk a little bit about what that was like. Your couple of weeks down in Indy.
Right. No, it was, it was definitely such a unique experience. We got down there, right after the selection show, checked into our hotel and had to quarantine for a whole day in our own individual rooms, by ourselves. And, we were getting COVID tested each and every day, doing, COVID tests. And it was such a unique experience too, because, at the NCAA tournament, you might have a team or two in the same hotel as you, but there was, in our first hotel, and even when we advanced to the next round, there were 16 teams in each hotel. So, you're bumping into, like Michigan State was in our hotel, or, Oklahoma State. Also, like Houston's meeting room was right next to ours. LSU's meeting room was right next to us. Maryland. So, being in a bubble in the same hotel where your meeting rooms are against teams that you might be competing against was just so crazy and so unique, because that type of thing, happens at, high school or AAU type of tournaments. It doesn't normally happen at the NCAA tournament. So that was such a unique experience. And then, everything was connected. So when we went over to practice, we were just walking through a skywalk that connected our hotel to the convention center at Indianapolis. And there were, I don't even know how many practice courts set up all through the convention center in Indianapolis. And there was a makeshift weight room in there as well, where they had like 6 different stations set up in there. And, we didn't get to go outside for like 4 days until we went to our first practice at Hinkle. So, and meanwhile, guys were still, locking in on the academic piece as well. So it was just such a unique experience being in that bubble with so many teams, going through the same thing. But it was also fun because we got to spend so much time with one another. And I'm sure when Crut and Jake get on here and they talk, those are the moments that you remember as a player, is, those times in the meeting rooms, those times going to practice, those bus rides with the team. Those are the things that and that camaraderie, that togetherness, that brotherhood is what makes, a college experience so enjoyable. And I was just so grateful that the group that we had was one that we all enjoyed really, really being with each other. And they just gave us, as coaches, such an unforgettable experience.
All right, one more question, then we'll get to Jake. So first round, you knock off the ACC champs. First round of the NCAA, you knock off ACC champs. Second round, you knock off the Big Ten champs. What does that say about where the program is?
Well, I think it shows that we are, a national brand. It shows that we can compete on the national stage. And it's one thing to, do it one time, but it's another thing to show the sustained success. So I think it shows that we're, a national program, a national brand, and we're not just a cool story one year. We're, a program that is on the national scale going to be competitive, and a team that if we can get in the tournament because of the way that we do things here, we can advance in the tournament. So super proud to be a part of this. Super happy for our guys, and they've got that chip on their shoulder, and they really showed it this year.
So you spoke about the 4 guys that are coming back. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the seniors who won't be back in uniform next year. So we're going to start with Jake. He's going to join us in a minute, and we'll get a chance to talk with him. But before he does, tell us what someone like Jake means to the Loyola basketball program.
Well, Jake is a guy that ever since my first interaction with him, was somebody that I just thought had such a great energy about him. Somebody that just was completely bought in and was all in. And I think good leaders don't always have to be leading at the front. And I've talked to Jake about this over his time here at Loyola. Is Jake was somebody that was leading by example, kind of pushing those guys from the back. And Jake just means everything to us. He exemplifies our culture. He exemplifies what a student athlete is, what he's been able to do academically over his career. And he's got a great family. The Boffman family is just, they're some of the nicest, people that I've got the, opportunity to meet and have a part of a program. And Jake was just a joy to be around every day. Somebody that a lot of the guys on the team had great relationships with, and he built bonds with brothers that will take him, through his life.
So Jake, I'm going to ask you to turn your video on, and we're going to start. Good to see you, Jake. So 5 years at Loyola, you got an NIT, 2 NCAAs. I knew you'd been with us for a while, so when I was preparing for this, I actually checked back to see if you were with us for the CBI championship, but that was actually a little before your time. But your first season, unlike Cam, who started his first year and went to the Final Four, your first season was the year before the Final Four run. So maybe from a player's perspective, tell us about the transformation from a good team, 18 wins, number 5 seed in the Valley tournament, but the transformation from that team to a Final Four team the very next season.
Yeah, thanks, Steve, and thank you for everyone on this call. It's a joy to be on here, and good to see some familiar faces. But to answer your first question, that team was a good team. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Wichita State was still in the conference. Northern Iowa was good. I mean, there was some. Illinois State was really good that year. I mean, there were some good teams in the conference that year. And I mean, obviously, we were led by Milton Doyle. He was kind of our lone senior. We had a couple other guys that didn't play as prominent roles, but Milt really, I think, taught Dante, Ben, Clay, and those younger guys. They were juniors at the time, but had a couple years left. Marcus really taught them a lot of what it would take to take the program to the next level. Obviously, Milt's had extreme success, playing in the G League, playing in the NBA, and then playing overseas. But the culture's always been there, and that team did everything that the Final Four team did, in the preseason, grinding and working, and it just built on each other. And I think, kind of what took the next step was just how veteran that Final Four team was, and very similar to how this Sweet 16 team was. Very veteran team, very, a team that's been through it all. I mean, those guys that were seniors, Ben and Dante on that Final Four team, I mean, they had been through it all. They had been through the CBI, they had been through, mediocre seasons, and they really understood what it would take. And then also you add pieces on like Cameron Krutwig and Lucas Williamson that are just invaluable to a team like that. And when you add guys on like Cam and Lucas, and that's what it took. And that took us to the next level, and we were in the Final Four the next year.
Not many players get a chance to be a part of two Sweet 16s, an NIT, a Final Four. You must have some great memories. Tell us about some of your favorite memories from your career with the Ramblers.
I mean, the Sweet 16 and the Final Four are easy ones, obviously, but kind of the ones behind the scenes. I would say my freshman year, I had the opportunity to go to Spain with the team right off the bat. So I was coming in, 18-year-old, just graduated from high school, and I'm off to Spain my first, couple months as a Loyola Rambler. And that was an unbelievable experience. I'd never been overseas, so being able to go to Madrid, Barcelona, and Valencia, and bond with those guys, it really meant a lot. And even at that point, I wasn't 100% sure that I was necessarily gonna play basketball, play Division I basketball. A lot of people talk about how hard it is to be a walk on and not play. And I think just getting that initial experience and how cool the guys were and how much I bonded with them right off the bat really helped. I mean, like Drew said, I made brothers for life. And guys like Clay and Ben kind of took me under their wing. That first summer, that time in Spain, we were together. And kind of just a short story, it was my recruiting visit to Loyola I took very late. It was my senior year, and I came up here and talked to, I remember London. I met with London, and then Porter, and Clay and Ben were in the gym, and they just kind of came up to me like, "Hey, like, you're like trying to come play basketball here?" And they're like, I was like, "Yeah." And they basically said, "Hey, we'll take you under our wing, and I don't know how many games we'll win or how good we'll be at basketball, but we're going to enjoy our time here at Loyola and enjoy our time here and college." And ever since then, it kind of just took off. And that experience, with those guys in that first year, was surreal. And then it just kind of took off from there. I mean, we had the opportunity to go to the Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands. I remember Phoenix, Arizona, and Mr. Norville took us out to dinner. We had a great dinner out there and upset a team in Vanderbilt, obviously a high major team. And so there's been all experiences throughout 5 years to name one, but those are a few that come to mind.
You mentioned that you said you might win a few. They might win a few games, and people don't always recognize the fact that 117 career victories while you were a member of the program. It is the program record for the most wins, and there's a lot to be said for that. So you did win. You guys did end up winning a couple games. What about your schoolwork? Dr. Rooney mentioned at the beginning of this, the commencement was yesterday. 5 years, MBA. Talk to us a little bit about your academic journey. You were a National Association of Basketball Coaches Honors Court, Missouri Valley Conference Honors Roll. So obviously you took your academics seriously. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, obviously, shout out to the academic advisors and all the help. I got through the basketball program and athletics. It's tough being on the road and trying to grind in school too. But that's one thing, kind of I can thank my family and my mom and dad for. They've always pushed me in school, ever since I was a little kid, that that's going to take you a lot farther in life, especially for someone like me than basketball necessarily. So I just always took a hard focus on school, and came out of Loyola with my bachelor's in finance and then MBA with a focus in management. And honestly, if I thought I needed more school, I'd probably be coming back for a sixth year and getting something else. But at this point, I think it's time to wrap up the whole school part, and it is kind of relief to be done with and look back on the education I have from one of the top business schools in the entire country.
I'm going to give Drew a chance to say a few words about you, Jake, and then I'm going to send it back to you. Hopefully, you've lightened up a little bit, but I want to give you a chance to maybe talk a little bit about your family, your teammates, coaches, Rambler fans, anything to wrap it up. But I wanted to give Drew a chance to say a few words about you as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Jake was the heart and soul of our gold squad. That's for those that don't know, the gold squad is the guys that are on that scout team that are going through the other team, the opponent that we're playing. They run their plays. They whoever it is, whatever position or whatever player that we're playing against from that specific team, try to model what they do and try to play the way they play. So Jake he's had a couple practices where he's made the other team's day miserable. So Jake, I had a question, man. I had this written down. I got to know, man, because I honestly haven't asked you this in person, which is crazy for me. I don't know why I haven't asked you it, but out of all the scouts that you've gotten the chance to do, or players you've got to be over these past couple years, what was one of your most memorable days for in practice, or like a scout that you loved playing?
I got to go with my guy Flash, obviously on Northern Iowa, because they ran a lot of blasts, so it was super easy. Because ever since I was young, I knew the offense because we ran it as well. And I do remember one practice I was being low house and also holderman, and I think a couple of other guys, on the gold squad with me, and we're lighting them up, having fun being you and I, and so I would say that was probably my favorite scout, pretending to be low house, and you and I, when they were top of the valley.
No, that's awesome, Jake. And I just, Jake, this because we've spoke, but to tell everybody else, I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for this program, and sacrifice so much, and mean so much to all of us coaches, personally, individually, and then you mean so much to your teammates. You've just been a great representative, of what it means to be a Rambler, and I'm just happy that we're getting to honor you tonight, man. You've been so awesome, and can't thank you enough, man.
Jake, anything else you'd like to add to close things? Family, teammates, coaches, say something to the fans.
Yeah, I'll just say, obviously, thank you to everyone. The man upstairs, Sister Jean, obviously my family, my mom and dad and sister. I know my grandparents are watching as well. Just wanted to say thank you to our staff this year. Porter, Flash, London, Drew, Pat, Jermaine, and Clay. We wouldn't have been in the Sweet 16 upstate Illinois without them and all the hours they put in. A couple of the past staff guys, I just wanted to thank Coach Mullins, Javon Maymon, Joe Krisman. Those are my guys. Built great relationships with them. They'll always be with me. All my past and present teammates. I know a lot of them are on here, the current guys, and those are my guys, and we'll be brothers for life. I got to shout out Willie too, the lone walk on coming back and in his fourth year being a walk on. And I will shout out Will because I did my research, and some would say London, but London earned a scholarship. I know his last year. Not a lot of people do that whole walk-on thing for their entire career, and he's going to his fourth year to wrap it up as a walk-on. So shout out Will for that. He's a real one, and he'll be leading that gold squad next year. All the managers, the athletic staff, Steve Watson, Tom Sabaro, Corey, my broski, our trainer, Dave Vitale, Bill Behrens, Brian Day, Austin Hanson, and Hitcho, obviously. And then just our biggest supporters, Dr. Rooney, the whole band of Wolves, cheerleaders, alumni, boosters, and fans on here. Thank you, everyone. And I appreciate it. And I'll be a Loyola Rambler for life.
Thanks, Jake, and we know we'll be seeing you around too. So we're looking forward to that. But congratulations on a great career here at Loyola. So next up, we're going to spend some time with Cam Krutwig. Before we ask him to join us, I'll say that between his game against Illinois, his famous harmonica playing, his mustache, he got awfully close to a Sister Jean level of popularity. But overall, his impact on Loyola was really off the charts. Drew, you were with him for all 4 of his years. Talk about the impact that he had on the program.
I mean, you can't now with when you talk about Loyola basketball, you can't talk about the history of Loyola basketball without mentioning Cam Krutwig. And I mean, he's one of the all-time greats here. I mean, what he was able to accomplish, it means the world to me. It means the world to our staff, to the university, to the to just everything. I mean, Crud is just, his impact will last here for years to come. I think, the best part about Cam is just how he brought it every single day. You know, his hunger to learn. The way in which he competed every day, the way in which he encouraged and pushed his teammates. Cam is literally the smartest person, basketball player that I've been around. He gets it. He's I mean, he was almost like a coach over these last couple of years with how we were coming to him on decisions that we should make as far as things to do on the floor. And we trusted him because of we knew where his heart was at. We knew how hard how hard he competed, how much he was about the right stuff, and he was wanting what was best for Loyola, not always just about himself. So Cred has done so much. He's proven himself time and time again against the highest level of competition. He's a super versatile player, and he's improved each and every year as well. So Crut is just he's one of a kind, and he will be missed. And like I said, he's one of the all-time greats here.
Cam, if you want to flip your camera on so everyone can see you, still got the mustache going. Nice.
Yes, sir.
Drew talked about the impact that you had on Loyola. Maybe you can tell us about what kind of impact Loyola had on you.
Yeah, I mean, man, that's a kind of a tough question to start the night off. But I mean, obviously, I got here as a freshman. I took about 6 or 7 visits up here. Drew could probably remember, Coach Moser and everyone. I wanted to make sure that this was the right fit, the right style for me, and it was. I mean, I couldn't have made a better decision about coming here. Coach's vision for me, and what he wanted for me, what he wanted to do with me and the team and everything, and it was just a great fit, and we just kind of started clicking right away. It really kind of came in the weight room. Dave, our strength guy, worked with me for 3 years out of my 4 years here. I mean, I owe a lot of credit to him. I mean, he changed my whole body. I came here at 310 pounds, 305. I got down to 260, 265. I've been playing at that weight, 265, 270, my whole career. And that was super big for me to just be able to be in shape, be able to, guard ball screens, run the floor, play at my own pace. And, that's changed, how I play basketball, changed the type of player I am. Definitely that freshman year summer, I was doing stuff with Dave every single day, trying to get it down, trying to get my weight right, trying to play. And, obviously my freshman year, we did great things. We went to the Final Four. Not many freshmen can say that. Me and Lucas, obviously Christian was a freshman as well. I mean, I feel like I grew up every year, from freshman year to sophomore year, I grew up. From sophomore year to junior year, I grew up. And then obviously kind of here at the end of my career as a Rambler, I felt like I was just kind of this, super mature guy, but also could have fun and joke around. Maybe my freshman year, I was a little too much joking around and stuff, but I still brought it in practice and stuff. But now definitely as a senior, I feel like I kind of had a great balance between having fun and also, getting everybody going, getting the guys right. And yeah.
The video you put together with Austin was extremely popular with Ramblers everywhere. talk about the process, putting it together, and how important it was for you to do that.
Yeah. So I had after the season, maybe a couple days, you know, I was about 95, 98% sure that I wasn't gonna come back. You know, I wanted to play pro. I wanted to kind of move on with my career. So I texted my guy Billy B, Bill Barons, and I was just like, hey, you know, I want to do something special. I want to do something special to say goodbye, kind of say all my goodbyes and everything. And you know, everyone knows Austin does great stuff. I mean, he does it throughout the whole tournament, my freshman year all the way. He does it for all the teams. He's great with that stuff. So you know, it took one day. He just kind of asked me some questions, and then I just let him do the rest. And he did some great work. And a cool story about that, like I think it was coming out on a Thursday, and I had gotten it Wednesday night. And I kind of it was like 11:30. You know, I had just gotten it, and I texted in the group chat. In our group chat, I was like, everybody drop what they're doing, come over right now, like come watch this type of thing. And I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 of the guys showed up. Obviously some guys were sleeping or doing homework or whatever, but I don't know, it's just kind of a cool moment. I definitely cried. All those guys cried, so it was a good moment. It was just kind of like my final goodbye. And you know, right now obviously I'm at peace with it all. You know, I don't feel like I can, you know, come back and do any more or do anything else. I'm at peace with it all, and I know that's how those guys feel, and that's how I feel. So it's just a great feeling. But you know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the season or after the season was over, yeah, I was pretty bummed out. You know, not coming back to college, especially when some of those other guys said they were coming back. But now, you know, I got my sights set on bigger things and in my career and everything. So, like I said, I'm at peace with it, and I think it was the proper way to say goodbye.
Drew, I'm going to give you a chance here in a second, but I'll ask one more. And Cam, you kind of started down this path. Everyone wants to know what's next, and it's probably somewhat impossible for you to answer because you don't know exactly where. But maybe you can tell us what you're doing to prepare for what's next.
Yeah, yeah. So I signed with an agency, Edge Sports. That doesn't really, you guys don't really need to matter about that. But yeah, I've been working out 3 times a day. I've been lifting up in Vernon Hills. Then I've been going to work out with my trainer, and then I've been doing shooting at night. And honestly, you know, I've actually lost some weight too. Looking skinnier, looking. I really kind of hit home my diet and eating right. And you know, I'm meal prepping now. I'm making chicken and noodles and stuff every day and veggies and stuff. And you know, I feel like I'm playing the best basketball of my life right now. And there's so much more to go. I'm starting to shoot more. I mean, you just asked Lucas. He was at open gym the other day. I banged 2 threes on him. I had a transition dunk. You know, I had a little lefty running sky hook, stuff like that. So I mean, I'm just getting creative. I've kind of always had that creativity to my game and stuff, but I was just, you know, kind of set in the system here, and the system worked really well. So I didn't really kind of venture out and do. I did some of my own stuff, but you know, now I have the freedom to make mistakes, freedom to, you know, go out and try different stuff because right now, you know, I'm not really. I'm preparing to like I'm going to play in the NBA, play overseas, but you know, there's no games coming up. So, you know, you can make mistakes. You can, you know, be free and experiment and stuff. So yeah, I've been playing really well, and I feel like I said, I've been playing the best basketball of my life. And you know, you can't be satisfied though. And then that's one thing that I did really well here at Loyola, and that I'll do for my whole career. You know, after my freshman year and went to the Final Four, it would be easy to, you know, I was freshman of the year. I was all this and all that. And it would be really easy for me to just kind of stop, you know, stop working hard and stuff. And it was, you know, the complete opposite. I was grinding at practice, everything, the loudest guy and all that stuff. So that type of mentality is definitely going to help me, you know, as I go on.
So Cam, we're going to give you a chance to close up here in a couple minutes, but I want to make sure Drew has an opportunity to chime in.
Yeah, yeah. Crut, man. you know how much, you know, when we talk, man, how much you mean to me personally and the staff and this program moving forward, and how big of an ambassador you're gonna, you know, be for us moving forward. And you know, I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done, you know, setting the stage and helping us, you know, grow this thing. And you know, everybody is just you know, so excited for you and your next step. You know, I was about to text you too, 'cause when I saw the little dunk on the Instagram. I'm like, okay,
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
that's better from, you know, your you want to tell everybody, they might forget about your first dunk attempt in college, if
Yeah,
anybody.
I'll tell it. Yeah, it was my freshman year. Man, I saw a picture from that game. I was lean, mean fight machine that game, man. I might have been too light, but yeah, I don't know. I was just hyped up. We're playing Lewis in an exhibition game, and yeah, I was coming off the bench. My first game ever in college. I was pretty nervous, as an understatement, and so I come in, and like within the first 5 minutes that I'm in, like I don't know, someone drove down the lane and dumped me off a pass on like a baseline drive, middle of the rim or something like that. And I was like, I'm gonna dunk this for sure. And I went up and like I tried to do a cock back, a little 2 foot leaner, and just rim stuff. And next thing you hear is the horn, and I'm right out of the game. And coach goes like this. Whenever coach goes like this during a game, just know that's not a good sign. But
Well,
you know, it was a pretty good start to a good career.
and it's crazy. Me and Craig talk about that and laugh and joke about that, you know, often. And you
Seems like
know,
everyone remembers that one.
yeah, but they don't remember the other ones. But you
Mhm.
know, Craig, by this year, he was throwing them down, with these. And you know, he's just meant so much. And there's so many different moments in his career that you can go back to. You know, I think one of my favorite ones was, you know, his freshman year, where, you know, we go to play, you know, Florida on the road, and they're number 5 in the country. And you know, I was like, man, like, what are we gonna do with these guys? And Crut just plays at his own pace, you know, and he goes out there and dominates that game as a freshman, you know, on the road, you know, against a top 5 team. And what he did in the tournament, and then what he was able to do, you know, over his career, like he talked about improving every single year. And you know, he really improved as a leader every year too. And Kurt, there's just so many different things that you've done, you know, and I've been able to learn from you, man. And you know, again, great family, you know, super supportive family. Can't thank them enough for supporting our team and being great ambassadors for the next, you know, generation as they got older. You know, the younger parents coming in, you know, great, you know, outside there was always, you know, between Coach Roberts and your brother. I mean, just always seeing so many of your family members that, you know, became supporters of our team and our program. And you know, looking at, you know, always continuing to have those relationships with your family, have them back at games. And Kurt, you're an awesome representative again of this university, man. And can't thank you enough.
Yeah. Thank you, coach.
Hey, Cam, before I let you maybe close up, I'm going to ask Drew one more question, and you've talked about this before, after being around a program like Michigan State, and it's starting to become a part. I shouldn't say it's starting; it's definitely a part of the program here now, where we've got guys when they leave, they become pros, but yet they still come back. They come around. Maybe talk about the role that someone like Cam can play going forward as a pro, and how he can continue to impact the program for the years to come.
For sure, and Cam is already doing a lot of the stuff. But you know, the last when we had off-season workouts, the last two weeks, Cam was at, you know, every one, and just showing how hard you got to go each rep. You know, showing our young guys, and you know, Cam will do that this summer as well. It's not going to stop. He's going to come to our open gyms. He's going to, you know, talk to our new guys about, hey, like, you know, these are some things that you can do, you know, on the floor that like will work it within the system, or you know, different things that like that. And when a guy like Cam Crutway gives you advice as a young guy, as a freshman, you're going to listen to it. You're going to be completely bought in. And then, different things within recruiting, Cam's, at working out at a couple different facilities where, young people are around him, and they're going to ask him how his experience was. Whether, years down the line when Cam starts coming back and coming to games, Cam is somebody that, people are, gonna, in the locker room and stuff, we're gonna, he's gonna bump into recruits and things like that. So, he'll always be a guy that, when a recruit follows him on Twitter or something like that, he'll be like, "Yo, Drew, what's up with this guy? Do we like him?" And he tracks that stuff and he follows that stuff. We were actually a couple weeks ago just watching a couple recruits highlight tapes in my office. And I was kind of showing them some highlights like, "Man, do you think this guy can do some things like you?" Or, certain things like that. So he's just a great ambassador. He's completely bought in. He's a Loyola Rambler through and through. And, he's going to be a mainstay and a pillar of our foundation for years to come.
Cam, and anything else you'd like to add? Family, teammates, coaches, Rambler fans, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, Jake covered a lot of that in his. Obviously a huge shout out to the fans through my 4 years here. We wouldn't be where we were without you guys, especially not just from the Final Four, but those years after. I can remember that my sophomore year we played Nevada in a rematch, and the gym was, I mean, that might have been the loudest I've ever seen Gentile. It wasn't our best game, but it was still a good atmosphere. I mean, I had some pretty good warm up dunks that game because I knew, okay, there's a lot of people here. I'm gonna try to do some stuff in the warm ups today. Yeah, I'll tell one story. I guess I haven't really told the story, and I told Lucas I'd tell this. I don't know if a lot of people have heard this or not. I told it maybe once or twice, but so just rewind this moment 4 years ago. Obviously, we're Final Four. We're having our banquet, and it was Dante, Ben, Dre, those three.
Carson too, Fudge.
Oh yeah, Fudge, Carson, and yeah, I think those were the seniors. And obviously Ben and Dante were the 4-year guys, right? And Coach was kind of going through his spiel and everything, and he came up. He got to Ben and Dante, and he was, he was listing off Ben, Defensive Player of the Year, Dante, this, that, and then he was like, these two Ramblers are the most winning Ramblers in the 4-year stretch here in history and stuff. And I can remember, and I don't even know if Lucas remembers this, but I do because I got a good memory. And I'm sitting at the table with Lucas, and like we're at a round table in the gym. And we did it in the gym because it was a huge event. I mean, there were a lot of people there. And I kind of just like, as Coach was talking about that, I kind of just looked at him and gave him like this little like type of thing. And then we just kind of were like, yeah, that's probably not going to last. And that was like kind of just a cool thing between me and him. And I'm proud to say that we actually did it. We became, along with Jake, which, I guess 5 years is kind of cheating, but I guess we'll pick your best 4 years, Jake, and you could be tied with us. But that was just kind of a cool story where we kind of we wanted to be great. We wanted to be competitive. Obviously we love those dudes, Ben and Dante and those guys. And, we were happy for them at the time, but we also wanted to, bust a record and stuff. And we did. So that's something I was super proud of. And just, when we found the program, me and Lucas and, I'll throw Christian in there, he was big for my first 2 years. And I'll throw guys like Ahir, Keith, Tate. I mean, all the guys that I've played with, when we found the program my freshman year, me and Lucas, we hadn't done really anything. We hadn't won the Valley yet. We hadn't even finished, top 3 in the Valley or top 4 in the Valley. We kind of got here and kind of put the work in, put the hours in and turn this program around and turn it into a successful kind of powerhouse in the Midwest. And it wasn't all just me. It wasn't all just Lucas. I mean, obviously, all those guys I mentioned, everyone that we've played with, from Bruno to Clay, Marcus, even the guys that have transferred, Coop, IB, Big Frank. I mean, all those guys, they're just good dudes to play with, team guys. sorry if I'm not mentioning some other guys. It's kind of just rattling off the top of my head. But I think the one thing that I tried to do the best was trying to just be a great teammate to everybody. Just trying to, incorporate everyone. I was probably got a little annoying there. I was always texting, let's play football. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's go here. And, some guys, we just kind of build bonds like that. And, so yeah, it was a great time here. My 4 years, like I said, I'm at peace with it. I feel great. I feel good moving on to my next career. And, yeah.
I'm going to ask one last question. And Drew mentioned this when he talked about you and your career. He mentioned your brother and the support of your family. I mean, they were at every game. Maybe talk a little bit about that relationship.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, my parents and my brother, I'm super close, really family oriented guy. And that's one of the reasons that I chose to come to Loyola, because I knew that I wanted my mom and dad at every game, my brother at every game. It's crazy. Like, I'm hanging out with my brother and my family, and they're already talking about going to Rambler games next year. And and they're like, oh, we're for sure going and stuff. And, I know they were bummed out. They couldn't come to the games this year. And then the one game that, they could go to, my parents both had COVID. So, but, they got to go to the tournament games, they got to watch on TV, and I know it's not the same, but I always knew in my mind that they were always rooting for us and with us. And, my mom and my dad, obviously huge influences in my life, just teaching me what rights and wrongs and being a good person. And that's, one of the things that I kind of pride myself on, being respectful, being a good person, and just kind of incorporating everybody. And obviously me and my brother are really close. He's not on here. He's got practice tonight, but, I wouldn't be here without him. And, it was fun. Like, some of the guys got to meet him this year a lot. Like, they all kind of knew who he was, my brother and stuff, but like he kind of visited school, after the season and stuff, and all the guys got to like hang with them and stuff. And they're all like, dude, we like your brother better than you and stuff, and like giving me about it. So that was a cool moment, just kind of see that group of people just kind of coexist together in my life, and kind of like my Loyola family and my real family kind of come together and make one big one. So yeah, it was a special year and a special career for sure.
Well, thanks, Cam, and congratulations on an unbelievable career. I know there's a team out there somewhere. We don't know who it is yet, but they're going to be real happy to have you suited up for them next season. So congratulations from all Ramblers.
Yeah, thank you guys again.
So we've all become spoiled. Cam mentioned Austin Hanson and the video work that he does. But there's a whole creative team that works behind the scenes and putting these things together. Bill Behrens, Mary Kate Rampker, Brian Day, Kieran Murphy, working with Tom Saboro, doing an unbelievable job overall. And then Austin throws it all together and puts these amazing videos together that he creates. And once again, he did it to recap this time for the 2020-21 unforgettable Loyola basketball season. We've got a great highlight video that we're going to share with you now.
To another season of Loyola basketball. The season opener here for the Loyola Ramblers, and they will control the tip.
They've been great at home in the last several seasons. Got a lot of energy here in Gentile. It's unfortunate we can't have fans, but it is very exciting to get this season finally underway for these teams.
when it's on the line. If it's do or die, would you compromise? Or would you stand through the storm and roll with the tide? Would you be the one to fight or the one to hide? You can never touch the sky if you don't try to fly. Rocky roads, but we stayed unshakable. Been through it all and we still unbreakable. Take no, we don't slow down, we don't go. Shake and roll, we are in control. Can I let this go? Hustle's all I know, we be on it. Really, we be on it, working hard, cause my opponents, I won't let them get a moment. I ain't flexing, I ain't bragging, I ain't boasting. But when it come to greatness, man, I swear that we the closest. All it took was hard work. Life give you a hand, better make them cars work. Now we pressing buttons just to make the cars work. Took a little time, but it paid off. Thankful, could either be a boss or being laid off. Swallow your pride, there's nowhere to hide. What would you decide when it's on the line? If it's do or die, would you compromise? Or would you stand through the storm and roll with the tide? Would you be the one to fight or the one to hide? You can never touch the sky if you don't try to fly. Rocky roads, but we stayed unshakable. Been through it all and we still unbreakable. Time to shine, started way behind. Now you lead the line. Yeah, I think it's time. It's your time to go. Been a star from the start. Now it's time to show. Say you working hard, well let's work some more. Say you on your job. Time to let them know that you can't be stopped. You will not flop. Give it all that you got. So you stay at the top.
And just like that, off to a big start again. Gets the finish. I'm so scared of losing. I find that amusing. I'm the revolution.
not done yet, though. We still got a lot of work to do, but this feels good. We're going to enjoy it for today, but we still got more work to do.
Me. Feeling on the top dog, history of my pedigree. Some say I'm a handful, others say I'm a standout. Hands down, it was hard work, never needed a handout, no. I gotta shine hard, so I grind hard. Overtime, plus the time card. Shooting star, I'm gassed up, yeah, I don't need no rocket ship. Time is money, it's well spent. Use common sense, I'm excellent, excellent, always excellent, excellent. I'm so excellent, mention my name, yeah, yeah. Always excellent, I never change, yeah, yeah. I'm so excellent. Goosebumps on my skin, hair raising, pressure, I don't feel none of it. Masterpiece that you can't measure, gotta treasure, gotta watch before my time, grandfather clock. Hard racing, never stop, I'm a hard throb, beating down the block.
On the wing right side, goes baseline right. Williamson for three, buries another. Lucas Williamson, his second three of the game. He slips and falls down. Gets it to Williamson, 7 on the shot clock. Down low, Kennedy wide open for the two-handed jam. First half, outside the elbow, right side, it's Williamson. He lobs down low. Crutwig catches and lays it in, and the Ramblers have the lead at 24-23.
Just straight precision from Lucas, MVP of the game so far. Fantastic job.
Lost the ball, dishes Kafis. Kafis passes up the three, takes it inside. Skip pass, Clemens wide open for three on the wing, and he buries it. Back right again. Looking to penetrate, lobs down low. Ugwak to the basket, and he lays it in. Again, 2 contact, no foul. Lucas Williamson absolutely in control of this game for the Ramblers here.
Fearless, Jeff. Absolutely fearless.
Instead goes to Clemens. His three ball is good. Back out Clemens. Three ball. Got it. Keith Clemens with a huge shot. Norris catch and shoot three. Got it. Great. Norris buries a big three. take on Illinois in the second round. The second round of the NCAA tournament as the number 8 seed Loyola Ramblers take on the number 1 seed Illinois Fighting Illini for a trip to the Sweet 16. This should be a really, really fun game for a number of reasons. An in-state showdown, a team, a program in Loyola rising to a mid-major power. The Illini back in a place where they haven't been since the mid-2000s. They have true national championship aspirations. Who will go to the Sweet 16? Well, we're going to find out in just a few minutes. Drives on Coburn, and the lefty hook shot is good over the top of the big man. Down spins to his right, lefty hook shot, good again.
I love it, yeah.
Williamson got a piece of it. Buckner comes away with it. Head to Norris, 3-ball, got it. Braden buries a 3, and the Ramblers lead it 9-2.
They're playing fearless, yeah.
Loyola on the wing, right side, Kennedy around the screen. Step back 3, got it, and 1. The foul's on Curbelo.
Wow.
Inside on Coburn, stops, bounce pass, Hudson in the paint, right over the top of Coburn.
Right over the top, literally. No fear from Jacob Hudson.
I'll never surrender. Surrender. There's a strength in me.
Penetrate back up top. Clemens on the screen for 3. Got it. Keith Clemens buries a 3. The Sheriff with a huge shot.
This fight, 'cause I'm rising up. Never giving up. Never say never. This fight ain't over. This fight ain't over.
Picks up the dribble. Goes to Crutwick. Backdoor pass. Williamson to the rack. He lays it in. Shovels it back to Williamson. Thought about a 3. Drives the baseline on Yusufu. Reverse layup is good. 2 more for Lucas Williamson. Back the other way. Williamson has it. Drives inside to the rack. Lays it in. 2 more for Lucas. The foul is on Frazier. And Lucas Williamson has come off the bench with 3 fouls and is threatening to carry the Ramblers into the Sweet 16.
I'll never surrender.
Will Illinois attempt to foul here? They will. DeSumo wraps up Norris in the backcourt, and now the celebration starting here at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. The fans in maroon and gold going nuts here. In Chicago, you won't believe how sweet it is. Your Ramblers are headed back to the Sweet 16.
I'll never surrender.
that fantastic. If that doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what will. Just a couple quick things before we sign off. Reminders: new season ticket holders can place a season ticket deposit now. Reserve your spot in Gentile for next year. RamblerTickets.com to make a deposit. Want to thank all of our supporters, everyone who supports our student athletes. A special thank you to our Basketball Excellence Fund members for all they've done and supporting the program, especially during such a unique year. Any interest in the Basketball Excellence Fund, you can find more information on LoyolaRamblers.com. Super special thank you to Cam and Jake, our departing seniors, and to put some last words on this. We can't wait to see you all in person next season. Thank you for joining us tonight. Stay safe, be well, and go Ramblers. Thanks, everybody.